that makes sense that you couldn't hear me. I've been speaking to myself now for this entire last couple of minutes. Yes, that's because I usually use OBS to record others. Oh, wow. Hold on, I hear myself now, so I'm gonna... There we go, I'm gonna mute that. Sorry about that. Yes, I can now hear... Hopefully you can hear me now as well. I usually use OBS to record seminars I do with my patrons. So to have the audio on separate layers, that's keep them separate channels. Hopefully you should be able to hear me now. If you can't, do let me know. I just freeze framed on a very funny frame of myself laughing at the screen. So how is everyone's Friday? It's afternoon here. I'm just waiting for people to pop in. We're gonna get started soon. But I'm assuming for a lot of you, it's probably around lunchtime, like 11 p.m.-ish, a.m. European sometimes, you know, we use... A lot of Swedes will say that we don't use AM or PM, but we do. We say in the morning and the afternoon. It's basically the same thing. Yes, so let me see. I'm gonna post a little bit. I will be starting very, very soon. So there we go. I saw that Wraith is 11 in Maine. Nice, Edward. Maine, that's New England. It's right next to Massachusetts, or is it this Maine? Yes, it's coastal, right? That's pretty cool. So we are going to be talking primarily, of course, about this thing that showed up in the mail a few days ago, or rather just yesterday, in fact. And then I'm actually going to open these two, Heritage and Vendetta, that I haven't opened yet. I played Vendetta. I played it with Huddy and Josh a while back, played it online, but haven't been able to since. Oh, it's 5. It's 17. That means you are in Central European summertime, same as myself. Hello. But yeah, that's what we're going to be looking at initially. Of course, starting with the Wraith box. Actually, going to be talking a little bit about my channel, what's been going on, because I've been a little slow with the updates lately, and there's a good reason for that. And it's not just that I worked myself to the bones last year and had a long time to recuperate, but we'll talk a little bit about Demon, talk a little bit about where the channel is going, Vampire, things like that, and what I'm looking forward to in 2021. I'm also going to share a few words on what I think about Bloodlines 2. So that's going to be fun because I did have a poll about that lately, and a lot of people wanted to hear my opinion on it. So that's something I'm going to be talking about, but that's going to be later. Wraith. You're doing your... Oh, yeah, you're doing your spreadsheets. Edward in the chat is working. He's doing God's work. He's basically creating a huge index of literally every... If I'm allowed to say that, maybe I shouldn't. Give me a sign in the chat if I'm allowed to talk about that. Let's see here. And while I'm waiting for the inevitable delay, you're having LARP withdrawals. That's relatable. I'm having real-life role-playing withdrawals for sure. I've been meeting a couple of times with my friends, but we've been meeting online, of course. So that's not the same thing. All right, so basically Edward in the chat, Edward Reed, not Edward Page. Funnily, we have two Edwards. Is making a huge index of merits and flaws from literally every book. Not just the source books, but literally every book in Old World of Darkness. Thank you, Rodrigo. Thank you. I love making content, and I'm so happy seeing comments like that. Thank you so much for that. It's been a while since I streamed. I haven't streamed since Earthblood, I believe, which I played about 6 hours off. Jesus. And since then, I haven't streamed a lot. I've been meaning to. I've been meaning to go back to Night Road, but it was just so much reading in Night Road, which is still a great game that I love, but I haven't played it since I streamed it, because I promised I wouldn't play it anymore. I would play it on stream, and since I haven't streamed, still haven't finished it. You have no life and you must scream. Yeah, that's relatable. It's very relatable. All right, so I have a couple of words about the channel right now, because I've been reading some comments. A lot of people are like, oh, cool, mage content, demon content, wraith content, vampire content, stuff like that. So I'm going to explain why I'm doing demon right now, which is, let's see where I got the book. We got it right here. I have moved into an office. That is why the lighting and everything is much better. Office, guest room. Demon, the Fallen, is what I'm working on right now for the channel. And the reason for that is primarily I ran out of content for Vampire, started doing Werewolf, and sort of ran out of werewolf content as well, I feel. I know there's a lot of stuff left on werewolf to cover, but I sort of hit a brick wall running while covering werewolf, because I'm not a werewolf guy. I like the content a lot, but I had a harder time finding, if it makes any sense. I feel like the meta plot for vampire, which always served as a good anchor for myself, is very spread out in werewolf. It's much harder for me to work with werewolf than it is with vampire, because vampire has like, oh, here's the Camarilla book. There's no Garou Nation book in werewolf. It's all spread out over the tribe books. There's a lot of information hidden in different places. Let's see, a question. If you take the test to find out what vampire the massacre clan you are 4 times, you get 3 times the same and 1 different. Does that mean you are that clan? I would say it's a strong inclination that you want to play that clan, Ice Wizard, Shadow Snake. Not necessarily that you have to. It's fun to challenge yourself and play other clans, but if you want to have a clan that will be a good way to get into the setting, sure, absolutely. Metaplot is just a mess for most game lines. You're right about that, Edward. Changeling, I want to get back to Changeling. I've only done 1 video on Changeling the Dreaming for Edward Reed in the chat as a Patreon video, and I've really enjoyed doing it. So Changeling I'm definitely going to come back to. And thank you, Edward Page. I really love making content. Only Sabat exists. Yep, only the Sabat. Camarilla is just a lie. But I have made a few recent videos. Those are Patreon videos, basically videos I make to some of my higher tier patrons. And I did one on whites. I was gonna say weights, but it's whites for vampire. And it felt like coming back to an old friend making a vampire video again. So I would actually like, since there's a couple more people here watching right now, I would love it if you had any ideas for stuff that I haven't covered in vampire yet, or werewolf, or for that matter. If you want to drop a comment, tell me like, oh, why don't you talk about this stuff in vampire? Why don't you go into this? I mean, I haven't covered the bloodlines at all, for example, in vampire, so that's probably something I'm going to come back to. But I switched from werewolf. Like I said, I was a little bit burnt out. Also, gotta say, some of the tribe books in werewolf, I'm not gonna put anyone on blast here, but some of them were not great. So that kind of really soured my expectations, I think. And werewolf used to be my favorite splat when I was younger, so I think I just have a hard time connecting to the themes right now for the game, which could entirely be on me. But I'm very excited to see if werewolf is going to come back. I also did a Hunter video. Hunter, I actually want to dive into. I was surprised by how much more I liked it than I thought I would, because I recall my original storyteller used to use Hunter as a good example of games not to play. I still like Hunters Hunted more. I don't like super-powered Hunters that much, but willing to give it a try. And that weird connection to the Solars in Exalted First Edition as well. That's why I put that in the video at the end. Edward Reed is offering to help me out with some lore for Changeling. That would be great. And the Society of Leopold, I have not. Hi, Huddy. How are you doing? I hope you're doing all right. I have not done Society of Leopold. That's interesting. Thank you. That's a great suggestion right out the door. Have I treated the V5 line in Vampire? I have touched upon it. I've done some stuff like the Beckoning, for example, but I haven't gone that much into V5, and I think partly because V5 is kind of metaplot light. And I'm actually going to talk a little bit about V5 as well later on, like some ideas I've had lately, like where I would like to see the IP go, and like stuff that they haven't done that I think would be interesting to see. But I'm going to get into that discussion later on. Any content on other changing breeds? I would love to do that. I've done the Rokea and the Mokole, or I got crap from both sides for how I pronounce that. So, Were Dinosaurs, I've done those two, but I would love to get into the other fair as well. I have a soft spot for the Hengyokai, the Shapeshifters of the East. I like the Beast Courts, and I also kind of like the Korax and the Naga, so might go into that. Historical events portrayed in World of Darkness, absolutely. The only difficulty there is that a lot of that content is spread out quite a bit across the books. I haven't covered Dark Ages at all, so that's definitely something I would like to go into as well. Thank you, Neveru. Thank you so much for that. I'm very happy that you like my content. I'm getting back into Steam again. Like, I'm not producing near as much as I was doing a year ago, but I've had a bunch of irons in the fire as well as a kind of iffy work situation. Shouldn't go into that. So it's been a little bit tough giving the channel the focus it should deserve. Oh, Nerbert, long time no see. Thank you. I was actually using your character sheet. Nerbert in the chat, by the way, has made some really cool, nice interactive PDFs of the character sheets for V5, and I was using that during a character creation seminar I was doing with some of my patrons. But yeah, the different pronunciations of Bruja or Bruja or however you want to pronounce that, and sometimes it's fine. Like I got a lot of crap for how I was saying Garu. It's supposed to be Garu apparently, as some people wanted to correct me. I don't know. It's a made-up fictional race, and they don't provide a pronunciation guide in the books, as far as I know. The only one they've done is Tsimitsi, which I'm not pronouncing the way it's supposed to be pronounced, which they did for a revised edition. Dark Ages, The War of the Prince is a good place to start. Oh, Reed, Edward Reed, always with the good stuff. But yes, I will be going back to talking more about Vampire, specifically later in this video, but I really wanted to get into the mystery box, but maybe I can do that in a couple of minutes. Big hairy dog. What's my favorite clan? I don't know if this is obvious enough, but I don't have the necklace on. I got a really nice necklace from one of my patrons that has the Tsimitsi logo in it as well. I also like the Tremere, because to me it's the same. Tsimitsi, Tremere. Tremere is just a bloodline of the Tsimitsi. I don't see what the problem is. So, it's the same clan. Changeling does have a pronunciation guide that's good, though. I like Banu Hakim a lot. I'm not going to put anyone on blast, but there was a thread on Facebook where people were arguing over whether or not Banu Hakim was like, why are they changing the name? I'm like, they've been calling themselves the Banu Hakim since 2nd edition. Just so you know, it's actually in the game. Don't worry about it. It's not a new thing. It's not a V5 thing. Ministry is a new change, though. However, thank you so much, Yane. Thank you so much. I miss you. I haven't been in your chat a lot. I haven't been on Discord that much. I've been very self-isolated. Thank you. You're my boy. Ramos is nice. I like him. I definitely don't have I'm not going to show my tattoo. Everyone knows I have a Tsimitsi tattoo. I got it when I hit 2,000 subscribers last February or March, right around the time when Corona started becoming a thing. I was like, I'm going to get a tattoo. I'll just give you a hint. It's right there. Yeah, Assamites is kind of like a derogatory term, and it's like a mix. It came about during the Crusades, and it has to do, like, it's related to the Hashishins, who were not actually Banu Hakim in the setting, or like a mispronunciation of Hakims or Hassans. It's a whole story. But yeah, I would say that any Banu Hakim will probably be like, if you use the term Assamite to them. I think they're pretty used to it, but I think in V5, since they joined the Camarilla, I think they're called the Banu Hakim. Sabbat cross, nice, the Sabbat. The only true sect to follow if you believe in freedom from the elders. But yes, actually, you know what? I might as well go into what I was thinking, because I've been thinking a lot about like which direction V5 is going to take, because there's been a while since there was a new book announced, right? And there's been this whole shuffling around, and I don't know what's going on, who's writing what anymore. I don't have any inside information on that. But a friend and I was talking, and we were discussing, where do you take V5? Like, there's so much content that's already been written. Are you going to rewrite the clan books? Are you going to make new clan books? Are you going to make new by night books? Can you sell that? Because you also got to take into account that the role-playing game market is significantly different from how it used to be. You got a lot more smaller actors. You got a lot of companies like Fria Ligan or Free League who release these experiences. They release a game like Alien, which you will play a couple of times, but to me at least doesn't have the kind of longevity as maybe Dungeons and Dragons or World of Darkness would have, those campaigns, chronicles spanning years. You got Symbaroum, which as well, to me, doesn't feel like a long-running game. And I think that's a smart way of selling role-playing games these days, because a lot of people don't have the time to get into a game for that long and sit down for years with their friends. Everyone's, time is premium. And I think one thing that they could focus on, World of Darkness, if they want to publish new books that haven't been done yet, is why not release Vampire the Masquerade the 1500s, Vampire the Masquerade the 1700s. Just release setting books for certain time periods. I haven't read it yet, but I saw that someone made Vampire the Masquerade, or Vampire the Antique, or the class, Antiken in Swedish, Rome, ancient Greece, the classic time period, basically. And I'm really interested in that kind of stuff. So that's an angle they could be taking it. Also, I'm going to read the chat because I realize it's just speeding by. Freebie Murders notes means a very underrated clan. Yeah, very underrated. I very much appreciate what they did with them in V5, by the way. Life is good. Thank you. Let's see here. Werewolf 5e fixing W20 crap. I would love to see a schism in Werewolf W5. I would love to see more inter-Garu or Garu politics, because that's something I definitely lacked in Werewolf. And I would love to see better bad guys, basically. I would love to see more Black Spiral Dancers and more cat fur flying around. I would love to see more depth to the threat in Werewolf, because I feel like it's a little bit cartoony. It's kind of jarring to read Werewolf stuff in 2021 and you go like, this is the bad guy. Like in 2021, when global warming is as hotly discussed as it is, proud of my joke there, shouldn't be, it kind of feels a little bit Captain Planet with that. Let's see. I don't know. I'm not going to go into talking about I'm not going to talk about the disciplines. I have good opinion. I mean, I have likes and dislikes about it, but I think it's a good idea to avoid the power creep, especially around blood magic that they had in revised edition. All right, but what I wanted to say is that I hope that they would actually. Yeah, it is Captain Planet. It shouldn't be though. You can do so much more with it. But let me see. The Convention of Thorns. What was it called? Yeah, basically you can release a setting book for the 1400s, include a bunch of NPCs, include some story seeds, maybe a one-shot adventure, talk about the local politics at the time. That way you can kind of appeal to the crowd who enjoy the older vampire stuff, and you can explore time periods that you haven't. Incidentally, I'm just gonna move this here. Incidentally, Heritage, which I'm going to open today, see, it's still in plastic, I haven't opened it yet, covers a whole bunch of those time periods. So that's a perfect tie-in, I would like that. But yes, more setting books like Wild West Vampire, Victorian Vampire, Roman Vampire, Medieval Vampire. Yeah, Norbert, I agree. And I think that's a really good way to get new players engaged in the lore without basically republishing a bunch of stuff. You can revise certain things that might not have aged as well, and you can engage the old player base a lot because, aside from Transylvania by Night and the Giovanni Chronicles, there's not a lot of books covering that time period. Like the 1600s, I think that's only Transylvania by Night. No, Giovanni Chronicles, 1666, I think. So, completely unexplored ground. You had the 30-year War of Europe. You had the Napoleonic War. Everyone's favorite von True prince happened to be a Napoleonic soldier. Could explore that part of the setting. So that's something I would love to see from World of Darkness, since we have no idea what they're working on right now. But it is 1:15, so I think it's time to do the first thing that I was supposed to do today. I've been just biding my time, waiting for a few more of you to drop by. I got this in the mail yesterday from the very fine folks at Fast Travel Games, who just released Wraith yesterday on Oculus only. I have opinions on that. I wanted to play it today, but I don't have an Oculus Rift. I have the HP Microsoft, I don't even know the name of it. I bought it very cheaply, secondhand actually, but it works fine. I played Half-Life Alyx, worked like a charm. By the way, I love that game. It's great. Might have played it a little bit too much. Might have broken a few things in my apartment because I have a very tiny space. But I'm very much looking forward to this game, and it's coming out on Steam VR the 25th of May, I believe. So, however, I'm allowed to say that I have been given the permission to play it a little bit earlier, knock on wood, if everything works as it should. So I'm very thankful for that, and I haven't opened this box yet. I haven't opened it, so we will open it together. I only took it out of its envelope. I unfortunately don't have any seals as far as I know that I can use to show that I haven't opened it. But yes, let's see what's in here. So I'm gonna open up. There we go. There is, of course, what I love the most, bubble wrap, the old stuff with tiny bubbles. I love that. Thank you so much. But that's not, okay. Okay, so this is, I believe, oh, this is a t-shirt. Nice, I love it. Yep, yeah, it's a t-shirt. So we're gonna open that. I hope you're all as excited as I am, because I have been following some of the footage being released for this game, and considering how scared I was playing Half-Life Alyx, I cannot wait to stream me playing Wraith Afterlife, which I hope I will be able to do. At least I will, regardless, record myself and release it when I can release it. And it's going to be pretty funny because I have an extremely small office space to play it in, so I might accidentally break stuff. So this is the first thing. We got a t-shirt. Afterlife. It looks really nice. I hope it doesn't mirror on the stream. Very cool. Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife. Gonna be wearing that while I'm playing the game. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, fine folks at Fast Travel Games. Is that potentially the same as this person in this photo? Rachel. Hello, Ed. Welcome to the afterlife. You know how the song goes, right? Ed is dead. Did you ever find out what happened to poor Rachel before you died? Use the key. Come find me, Ed. I am waiting for you in the Barclay Mansion. The Shadow. Interesting. Very interesting. The Shadow. Now, if you're not familiar with The Shadow, I am going to do more Wraith videos later. I've only done one. I've only done once so far. You can't do retakes on a live stream. But The Shadow, this is Rachel, by the way. The Shadow, oh yes, Simon, there is a virtual reality game that just released yesterday, and it's coming to Steam VR in May 25th, if I'm not mistaken. But it came out yesterday to the Oculus Rift. I can't play it because I don't have the Oculus Rift, but I'm going to play it soon, I hope. It's Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife. It's a horror game created by a Swedish company, Fast Travel Games, who are basically a VR company. They work with VR games almost exclusively, as far as I know. So the Shadow in Wraith is basically all your dark urges. It's basically you, but it's you who wants to drag you into oblivion. Now we have our Wraith lore master Huddy here in stream, who's been doing a lot of Wraith videos. I've only done one. She's much more knowledgeable about the setting than I am. But Wraith is probably the bleakest setting of World of Darkness. First edition, which I happen to have here, bought it secondhand. Left it in the plastic because this is a family heirloom. I'll give it to my firstborn child. Was apparently so grim that they rewrote a bunch of the lore for later editions because people just didn't want to play it. It's still very, very dark. But the Shadow is, when you die, you become a Wraith. If you have regrets, if you have fetters keeping you to our reality tightly, basically if you die and are unable to pass on for whatever reasons, you become a Wraith. And your Shadow, which is your darker side, your darker self, in a sense similar to the Beast, but while the Beast is a curse, your Shadow is rather just your id. It's your darkest impulses, and it wants to drag you into oblivion. It wants to turn you into a specter. It wants to make you an evil ghost. So your Shadow, when you play Wraith, is actually played by another player, and their job is basically to try to tempt or cajole or otherwise convince you to do bad stuff. And that is one of the reasons why Wraith is a very difficult game to play. It's best played with people you know. But the Shadow is probably going to be present in Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife, as far as I know, and it's going to sometimes help you, sometimes not help you. It's you, but it's also not you. And yes, congratulations, Huddy, for the influencer thing with TikTok. Good work on that one. TikTok, what is that? Is that like Periscope? I know kids are doing that thing. They did that 5 years ago. But congratulations. They have personalities. Some try to convince you your memories of being human aren't real. Yes, so they are basically trying to make you lose your sanity, lose your grip of reality. So I'm just going to read the chat before we continue. Am I dead? Soul forging. That's another thing that can happen. Basically, if you're soul forged in Wraith, that means you're turned into, you're basically broken down into your base components, your ectoplasm, and turned into furniture or weapons or money. Technically, it's supposed to get rid of your consciousness. Nobody really knows if it does, however. And sometimes the money in your pocket's going to be like, oh, help me. Just don't pay any attention to that. And isn't a whole combat system chapter. In Wraith, it isn't a whole combat system chapter, isn't it? I'm not sure about the combat system. I'm very rules light in terms of how I read these books. So I'm not so sure about the combat. All I know is that it's probably very sort of complicated, knowing that's old world darkness. Now then, I have here a key. Rachel, the Shadow wrote, "Did you ever find out what happened to poor Rachel before you died? Use the key. Come find me, Ed. I am waiting for you in the Barclay Mansion." And wouldn't you know it, Barclay Mansion right here on the key. I don't know if you can see it. Barclay Mansion written right there. Very excited to go visit. That doesn't sound foreboding at all. Barclay Mansion. This big old mansion up in the hills, far from everything else. Oh, and what's this? Temporary tattoo. Oh, I should have opened this earlier because then I could have shown this off. This is so cool. This is so cool. I wonder if this is related. There's symbolism here. You got the moon, the sun. Now, Huddy. Do you recognize any of this symbolism here, do you? Perhaps. You got the sun, the moon. It's kind of supernatural. Wonder if this is... Maybe if I put it on and put some, what's it called, black light on it, it's going to reveal a secret to a puzzle in the game. It's very, very cool. Thank you. And more classic wrapper. Thank you so much, Fast Travel Games. Maybe I shouldn't use the key. I don't know what to do with it yet, but it's very, very cool. It doesn't, yeah, it's cool. It's heavy. It's made of metal. What am I supposed to do with it? I wonder if it, one, and a lot of stains. Yeah, no, I don't want to use the black light for that. Maybe don't use the key. In the game, it glows the closer you get to your shadow. Oh, Edward Reed. I haven't been doing my research. So this is like a tattoo that glows the closer you are to your shadow. That's good to know. Cut out the tattoo, peel away the clear plastic layer, apply it, remove wipe skin. All right, so now I'm tempted to either play in this awesome t-shirt that I got, or play it shirtless, running around with a tattoo on. I don't know what people would prefer. I'm gonna assume shirtless, so that's how you're gonna see it when I'm playing it. And then of course we got this really amazing t-shirt. So thank you so much, Fast Travel Games. And I'm gonna completely isolate myself from reviews, previews, anything. I've seen nothing of the teaser stuff. I played the demo online on the website where you see some memories because I wanted to enter the contest for that, and I wanted to advertise that contest. And I've seen the early stuff from like turn of the year, even earlier, but I've consciously made sure not to play or watch anything else of the game because I want to go in and get scared shitless with VR. I am thankfully not one of those kind of people who, I don't get that motion sick in VR. I tried playing Half-Life Alyx with the, using the sticks to move like that. That made me incredibly sick. So hopefully they have the kind of teleportation where you just motion and you jump to that place. I do have a VR headset and I do plan on playing it. I would love to stream it if I'm allowed to. I will check in with Fast Travel Games. If I'm allowed to stream when I'm playing. Otherwise, I will still be recording it regardless. So if I'm not allowed to stream it, I will publish the gameplay footage as well as a little recording of me in the bottom standing in my 1.5 times 1.5 meter square space and trying not to hit bookshelves. Funny story, I hurt my hands significantly in Half-Life Alyx because there's a level where you have to throw a bunch of grenades. And you have to really like whip your wrist. And of course, I was leaning back and not smacking them into bookshelves and into desks and whatnot. And I almost stepped on the cat once, so that happened. But yes, I do have a VR headset. I will be playing it. I unfortunately don't have an Oculus Rift, so I can't play it right now. But it will be coming to Steam VR very soon, and I have Steam VR. I don't have the Steam headset. I have a... Actually, I think I can show it. Let's just hope the green screen doesn't fall over. Here we go. This is the HP spatial computing something reality. God, now I remember. Now I can't remember the name for it. Windows mixed reality headset. It works like a charm. So I will not be shirtless. I was just making a funny joke. I'm not going to be shirtless. I will be wearing the T-shirt I got though. Maybe I should tattoo. Maybe I should put the tattoo on like my No, it wouldn't fit on my face. Like my arm. It should be on my arm. Definitely putting it on my arm so you can see it when it's happening. But yes, very, very excited to play it. And hopefully I will be able to stream it real time for you guys. It will probably be a couple of streams then, because 2 to 3 hours of VR is all I can manage before I get completely dehydrated. And I'm extremely tense when I'm playing VR. Half-Life Alyx, by the way, completely unrelated to this. Half-Life Alyx is a great game. If you're ever looking to get into VR, I would say that's one of the must-get games. Creepy as balls. Okay, left arm if I want it to be like the game. And make sure which way goes up first. That's a good piece of advice. I will make sure. I would assume. I mean, it looks. I'm gonna look it up how it's supposed to be. That's one of the downsides of me not wanting to get spoiled, is that I don't have 100% tabs on exactly what's going on in the game. So like the game kind of resembles a first-person experience of the. Yes, the Haunted Mansion level. Simon Angertier, you're probably very right. I'm assuming this is just going to be an extremely creepy Haunted Mansion ride. Let's just say this. I've never finished Amnesia. I've tried to play it about a dozen times. I'm terrified of that game. And even though it's aged, like the graphics are extremely badly aged, I was watching a streamer playing it recently, and I had to take breaks. I'm a chicken shit, so this is going to be so much fun to play. I'm very much looking forward to it. So once again, thank you so much, Fast Travel Games, for this little awesome gift box, the key and the tattoo, and of course the photo of Rachel, and the T-shirt, and of course the bubble wrap, my favorite, the bubble wrap. So thank you for that. We will of course be. I will keep you guys posted on what's going on with Wraith. But let's go on to the next thing that I was promising to unwrap around the end of the year. Never got to. Now, this is probably old hat for a lot of you, but as you can see, it's still in the box. I played a long time ago with Josh and Huddy. We played Vampire the Masquerade Vendetta, which was fun, even though, of course, we didn't really get the rules. So I just wanted to open this to everyone and show it. I'm just going to move the mic over here so it's not getting bumped. It's a pretty big box, and I got a huge. I think the coins should be in here. The coins otherwise fell out. There's a coin, like little metal coins, so might be missing those. They're somewhere here. These are play mats, I believe. This game is oh, the green screen. What about the green screen? Did I mess up the green screen? Is it falling? Let me go live here. No, I apparently bumped it. Oh yeah, the green screen. This is not visible, probably. Playmats, they're not showing up, but there are other playmats though. That one was so Nosferatu is green. That's their color. Excellent choice of purple for the Tremere. I love it. None of the mats are showing. Ventru is of course blue, interestingly, kind of a bluish red, purple. Oh, I just bumped into it. Okay, sorry. We have Tremere, the Toreador. They're blue, the roses. We got the Bruja, the Anarchs. They're reddish, kind of reddish pink, red. I have not made a video about Thin Bloods and K-Tips because I don't like Thin Bloods and K-Tips. They're garbage people. don't like them. Just kidding. I have not covered Thin Bloods that much, I believe. I've talked about them, but I haven't done specifically a video about Thin Bloods. And here we have the Gangrel. They're greenish yellow. And finally, the Malkavians, who are also kind of pinkish purple. A lot of, which seems to be a dominant color in this game, by the way. A lot of the design is pinkish, which I like. Question, if you mind, I make multiple pictures then for Wraith of Oblivion. Care to use in your video or Huddy? What do you in SFM? That's Steam. That's the video editing for Steam. Is the Malkavian a baseball player? Good question. Yes. Pitcher, right? Pitcher. Yes. That is so cool. I didn't even think about that. Gangrel is this Viking-looking dude with massive claws. We can have a baseball bat. No, it's not a baseball bat. It's a freaking maul. Bruja got a club, spikes on him. The Toreador is this haughty-looking fella right here. We have, of course, the Ventrue, as certain friends of mine pronounce it. Not going to say any names. Has a cane. We have the Tremere, of course, with a dagger. Because why wouldn't you have a dagger if you're Tremere? Bye, Huddy. See you later. Thank you for coming. And the Nosferatu has... She's missing an arm. She has a prosthesis. Is that what it's called? And she's got some kind of wire that she's gonna kill people with. These are very, very cool. Oh, hi! Hi, Kitsu. How are you? Thorn Embers. Thank you for coming to the stream. You can playtest this on Tabletopia. I had a lot of fun playing it when we were trying it out a while back. Prosthetic. Thank you. English is not always... I'm not always very proficient in English, despite my videos being in it. We have, of course, these are, I believe, where you put... Is this discard piles? Or... Hold on, no, I think I know what this are. There's a lot of things in this one. These are... There's a token, an Ankh, as well as some more cards. As long as this vampire is the location, anytime a player plays the card. I believe these are some of the Kickstarters, or rather, people who got voted in for being characters in the game. Token trays, thank you very much. Token trays. There's a lot of tokens in this game. There's the Ankh. I'm gonna have to put all this back in that box later. But these are token trays. I'm unfortunately not an avid board game player, so a lot of these things I'm probably not too familiar with. We got a token bag, very nice. I really, really, really like this shade. Is it magenta? Fuchsia of pink? It's very nice, vivid color. Here's a shit ton of tokens, heavy ones as well. We got blood tokens, we got coins. I do have more coins. Maybe they're in this bag. I kind of lost them somewhere when I was moving into this office. And of course, card sleeves. A whole bucket of card sleeves. Character creation streams. Oh yes, we should do that. I had a character creation, session, 2 of them actually with my patrons. So I might release a condensed version of that, like make a new one and do later, because it's pretty fun to make characters in both V20 and V5. So as you can see, not opened yet. I'm gonna open it now. Realize I gotta hurry because I have a feedback session with one of my highly esteemed patrons at 7, so that's in about an hour and 20 minutes. Snickers the Clown, yes, Snickers the Clown, great character, that one. Yes, so I should probably mention that what I do is I used to run games for my patrons, but then I stabbed them in the back and said no more. I can't run 5 games a month. It's insane. So instead, what we're doing is we have 2 sort of seminar lectures every month, where we cover topics that have been voted for by the patrons, and it's basically a 3-hour seminar where I do everything from talking about NPCs and NPC creation to making player characters to doing research for your setting, things like that. And I release these VODs for my patrons at believe Elder tier and above, and with 1 session's delay, and Primogen tier and above are able to look at the VODs right away, except for the latest one, because stuff happened. It will be up very soon. It will be up this weekend. So yes, here is the rule compendium, of course, for Vendetta. I recall this design. It's got a great overview over game variations. Not very thick, which is good. This game is not complicated to play, but it has a lot of depth to it. I recall somehow, and I still think I didn't win when we played, me, Huddy, and Josh. I just think I won because we didn't count the points correctly. But I was playing Tremere, of course, when we were playing. Could even do some for the other World of Darkness systems. You know, Junk Bucket, you're absolutely right. Character creation for other World of Darkness systems would be fine and fun as well. Here are same as the playmats, but just hard. Just a cardboard version of them. A whole bunch of tokens, of course. If I recall, you play this game in just a few rounds, and you're supposed to gather allies and mortals that you can feed from, as well as ghouls and things like that. All right, see you later, man. Thanks for dropping by. Thank you, Ian. Ian introduced us some really good interviews. This is in his name, is a really nice person in general. Go check him out if you can. A whole bunch of these tiles, and then of course a whole bunch of cards. I'm not going to open all of them right now, but this game was very fun. We played it. It went fairly quickly, and has a lot of replay value. Actually, surprisingly, not too many tokens. I do have Kingdom Death and Gloomhaven. Those games have a lot of stuff, but this is neat. Very nice, very well tightly compacted as well, so easy to put away should I need to, and lots of goodies with it. Very cool. Of course, Vendetta by Charlie Cleveland and Bruno Faiduti and Martin Motet as well. I hope that said those names right. I think you can order this. This is not the other game, the game that's coming. Not Chapters, which is not going to be able to be bought in a store because it's ridiculously expensive, because it's extremely big. I can't wait to play that though, and I really hope I can play it on stream. Actually, I would love to play that because you can play it single player on stream. Yes, it's a 3-round game. So it went, even though we were very new to it, it went by fairly quickly. Let me move the microphone again. Changeling character creation. That would be fun. Maybe I should invite Edward to host that as well, because he has a huge amount of information and knowledge about that. Okay, so now we're getting to Heritage. After I've covered this one, I'm going to talk a little bit about Bloodlines 2. I know a lot of people wanted me to talk about that, so that's going to happen. My opinions on it, rather. A lot of people wanted to hear my opinions on it. A lot of people didn't want to hear my opinions on it, but then they can just skip that part out. I'll let you know when that happens. So, yes, nice. I really like the evolution of how the streams go. Start out with an idea and let it evolve, and compare the character you made with the idea you started with. Yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed that. I think it's always good to have a starting concept. One of the things I spoke about with my patrons was the fact that you should probably decide your clan fairly late, unless you're very new to the game. I think the clan stereotypes work really well if you're new to the game, but once you've got some experience, I would wait until the very end before I assign my clan. So, this game takes place between 1306 and 1997, Heritage. And I'm very excited about this one. I don't think I'll ever be able to play it, unfortunately, because I don't have a lot of real-life friends who drop by and play board games. I even have a great table for it now, but apparently I'm not interesting enough to play board games with. So I hope I can play this, but regardless, the art in this game is absolutely amazing. I didn't say that about the other one, about Vendetta. Vendetta has some really cool art in it, really grungy, kind of 90s, dark, sketchy, really gives you the feeling that you're down dirty on the streets and you're fighting each other over territory, over turf. Whereas Heritage takes place over 600 years, almost 700 years, and has a cleaner style to it. And I really like the aesthetics of this game as well. Oh, hush you. I'll say whatever I want on my stream. Thorned Embers. Clan Tzimisce, of course, the Holy Spirit, the best clan in the game. So, just like with the previous one, the instruction manual is not very thick. You can play what clans... Oh! I know very little about this game, by the way. I saw it, I saw the art, and because I'm a sucker, I went for it right away. I kickstarted it right away. So you get the Bruja, Gangrel, La Sombra, Malkavian, Nosferatu, Toreador, Tremere, Tzimisce, and Ventru. So no Banu Hakim, no Giovanni, no Ministry or Followers of Set, no Ravnos, but pretty much everyone else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Who's missing? Bruja, Gangrel, Sombra, Malkavian, Nosferatu, Toreador, Tremere, Tzimisce, Ventru, Ravnos, Followers of Set, Giovanni. Hold on here. Bruja, Gangrel, La Sombra, Followers of Set, is there Malkavian, Nosferatu, Toreador, Tremere. It's another one on Tzimisce, Ventru. Bruja is there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's 7 clans. The 7 clans of the Camarilla is Bruja, Gangrel, Malkavian, Nosferatu, Toreador, Tremere, Ventru. The clans of the Sabbat are Tzimisce, La Sombra. And then you have Followers of Set, Giovanni, Ravnos. Gargoyle's not there, obviously. Good choice. Banu Hakim. There you go. Banu Hakim, the Assamites. There we go. Ah, man. Yeah, they wouldn't be in here. Salubri, too late, unfortunately for them. Sorry, they're too tasty. So, Chronicle Booklet, pretty neat. Not as big as I thought it would be. A lot of these books are basic. Oh, there's like some little story. There's a couple. This is nice. So you're playing a Chronicle. You have timelines going on. You have some story going on, and basically you write in events. Of course, everyone. Oh, Targoviste, Constantinople, Moscow, Amsterdam, Kiev, Sibiu. This is cool. Rhodes, London, Rotterdam. So basically, you write down events for different Malta, Naples, Granada, Birmingham, Baghdad, Vienna. So there's apparently the game seems to be taking place in different cities depending on which time of history you're in. Might be wrong. This seems to be something I shouldn't open until I get to that point in the game. There's a couple of these letters. Oh no! Actually, they're empty. So I'm gonna assume this is for players to keep their stuff in between sessions. Cappadocians, unfortunately, also dead in 13. No! Yes! Yes. Wait, when is the first Giovanni Chronicles taking place? Is it in the 1400s? Giovanni Chronicles. Shame. I don't know this. 1444. So yes, the Cappadocians should be around right now, but it's not. Here we got some really cool characters. We got Ekaterina, the Wise, sire of Christoph of Vampire the Masquerade Redemption. We have... Who's this fella? Gangrel. Oh, there's people on the back on the back too. This is... I don't know this guy. I don't get Ekaterina. Yes, the Wraith game is in VR. This is correct. Let's see if there's a cheat sheet for these here somewhere. There's not, but I do know some of them. So, yeah, she's in New York by night. She's also in the game Shadow of New York. So, Ekaterina, and then Robin Leland. Who knows? We have some really cool vampire-looking lady. I'm gonna assume Gangrel, and then yeah, you know what? You know what? This is probably Gangrel. This is probably Gangrel. Now that I think about it, and then this is probably Bruja. Then Robin Leland, it might be. Who knows? Sire of Tyler. We have Malkavian, Anatole, I don't know how to pronounce that. And I would assume this is the one from Giovanni Chronicles? Or is it... No, this has got to be, what's her face? One of the founders of the Camarilla. God. You'd think I was a guy who wrote about this stuff. Let's see here. I'm really bad at names. That's my excuse. Kindred sect. History. Founders to be... There we go. Camilla Baines. Probably Camilla Baines. What's my opinion on the Gangrel? They're the OG. They were my first clan of choice when I was younger. I always played Gangrel. Now I don't, because I wouldn't say I've outgrown them, but I like different things now. But I like them. They're cool. Here we have everyone's favorite architect of labyrinths, shown up in LA by night, Nosferatu. Not entirely sure who this is. I'm gonna assume there's probably names and stuff in the book. Do we have Rafael de Corazon here somewhere? Honestly, I think I would say this is probably Rafael de Corazon, but I may be wrong. Toreador, obviously. We have this guy, which I believe is Max. God, I keep saying Max Schreck, but that's not his name. Current leader of House Tremere. His name is not Max Schreck. His name is... Where are you? His name is... Not Grimgroth. Chat, help me out. I feel like a fool. Etrius should be around here then somewhere. Second Inquisition, Vienna Chantry. God. Ah! There's so many names in this game. I feel bad. Shifla or something. Yes. Let's just go here. Tremere. You know what? I'll look it up later. Tremere. Anyway. Cool clan. Is that Mirlinda, maybe? Could be. Here we have Hardestat. I know that one. And, not entirely sure about this. Most likely this will be showing up, of course, when you're playing the game. So we got a whole bunch of... Oh, I got the expansions. Twisted Fate. Nice. No, notice that there are no La Sombra or Tzimitzi. Most likely those are expansions or maybe unlockable. Cruelty. So many things in this. I'm going to show you the inside of the box because I really... Honestly, I don't want to take it out because there's so much stuff in here. But like, look at this. Look at all this stuff. It's great. Max Schrecht, thank you so much. Yes, thank you. That's Max Schrecht. That's the guy. Who's currently the head of House Tremere. Because he's the only sane one left. But this is just so much stuff in here. A whole bunch of tokens. A lot and lots and lots of cards. Presumably a map here. Yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be Tzimitzi. Are these models? Come on. Careful. Oh, these are extra special cards for Volcavian. Okay, gotcha. So, yes, we have all the clans here. What is this? What is this box? What's this box? More cards. The Maid, the General, the Duchess. The artwork, by the way, amazing for this game. Absolutely love it. I think this is available for purchase. It's been a while since this game was released. I think in early 2021, if not earlier. But I unfortunately have not had the time to open this and look into it. But I will go through it later. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. way more than I could cover in this video. Theophana. Oh, Theophana. Thank you so much. Theophana. Is she... Yeah, but interestingly, you're playing like... Theophana. You're playing... Yeah, it is Lady Theophana from the... Yes! Oh, that's right. She's like one of the very few... I was right the first time. She's one of the very few conspirators of Isaac. The ones who planned the diablerie of Cappadocius, who survived. A lot of them were hunted down and killed afterwards for some reason. But Theophana, Lady Theophana was one of the few survivors. Thank you very much, Nerdbert. So that's cool. That is nice. You're basically playing historical characters like Hardestat, Rip in pieces. Got shotgun to the face by Theo Bell. Which is, by the way, also going to be, I believe, where that convention was being held is also where the upcoming arena game is going to be taking place. MOBA. Where you're going to be playing basically Anarchs versus Camarilla, I believe. And Second Inquisition also plays a important role. Oh. Heritage, the legacy game. It will change and evolve as you play. Each set will change in their own ways. Gosh, very cool. Yes, I love legacy games. I would love to play this again. If we can get some friends over, I would love to play this. Maybe I should try to see if I can convince Outstar when the contamination is over to maybe play a round or two. We live not... I'm not going to dox where Outstar lives. Never mind. So, we've done that. Now it's time for me to talk a little bit about what I think about Bloodlines 2, which I know that not everyone is interested in hearing. It's not going to be a very long talk. But yes, I'm aware of what's been happening. I'm aware that the game was supposed to come out last year, was pushed forward a bunch of times. The lead writers were let go, the people who made the first Bloodlines, and now it's been taken off the hands for what are they called again? Bloodlines. The people who were it was being made by Hardsuit Labs. They are no longer making the game, and I cannot promise getting Outstar in. We are not. We're acquaintances. I was just throwing that out there. It would be great if she wanted to play with me, but I don't think I really don't have that kind of pull. She's a really cool person though. But yes, like I was saying, Hardsuit Labs kind of got the shaft. Hello, Falcadude, welcome. Making Bloodlines 2, and it's not sure which company is working on it now, if it's Paradox or if they got another company working for it. But all that kind of information, who's doing what now, who's working with it, all those names, you can find that information pretty much anywhere. I've been asked by a few people, and I polled the community if you wanted to hear my opinions on it. And first of all, I wanted to say that I think I'm not worried too much. But that's also because I was into Vampire long before Bloodlines. I think that a lot of people who are currently very upset, and I'm not going to dismiss being upset about it, probably got into Vampire because of Bloodlines. Bloodlines mattered a lot to a lot of people. I don't want to dismiss that. I love the game myself. I played 30 hours, 2 15-hour streams on my channel. 15, not 50, for charity. Probably not going to play that again, but I might do a Bloodlines 2 charity stream when we get to that, because I'm going to play that game, play the heck out of it. But I just wanted to provide some context for when I was playing Bloodlines the first time. Because a lot of people are saying that Bloodlines 2 is going to be bad. It's not going to be as great as Bloodlines 1. It's not going to have the soul of Bloodlines 1. It's not going to sell well. It's going to look outdated, or it's going to be bad. These are legitimate fears, but I don't think they're right. And the reason I have for that is because Bloodlines 1 was a commercial failure when it came out. It sold about 70,000 copies, which was not a lot. And it came out in a very difficult year. You had World of Warcraft coming out that year. You had, if I'm not mistaken, you had Half-Life 2, same engine. And Valve wasn't being very cooperative when it came to working with the source engine, which is what Bloodlines was made in. So that's why it's very, very buggy. They had to rush a bunch of stuff. Bloodlines 1 shipped, it was practically, for some users, it was almost impossible to finish the game without cheating. It was very much, if we get to that, I think it's going to get a release date. I don't think it's going to be vaporware. I don't think Paradox is going to cut it at this point. But I do think, I'll get to why I think Paradox is doing what they're doing later. But in my, when Bloodlines 1 came out, it was actually a huge disappointment for me. And that was at the peak of when I really, really loved World of Darkness before I actually stopped playing it for quite a while. And I was disappointed because while the story is really good, the writing is top notch. I was disappointed with the amount of bugs. I thought that parts of the setting was handled kind of weird, and I wasn't a very big fan of the gameplay. That aside, which is very personal, again, it was a commercial failure. And it was supposed to set off the end times, Gehenna, because that was happening around the same time, a little bit later. Like, it was supposed to be the finishing shots of the World of Darkness before they got into New World of Darkness, which later became Chronicles of Darkness. And I think anyone who like, the reason Bloodlines 1 is it's a cult game right now is very much because of the community around it. You have a lot of people like Ian, for example, who showed up a bunch in my stream. Ian Watson, who works with Onyx Path. He and a whole bunch of other people have worked very, very hard to make Bloodlines the best it can possibly be. It's still an incredibly buggy game. Remember, literally everything in my apartment turned into a towel rack. And I got the latest part of the bug. I mean, I got the latest patch for the game. So Bloodlines 1 is a mess of a code. And it was released in a very competitive time. And it was extremely beautiful when it was released. That's something I got to point out as well. The source engine looked significantly better than any other on the market right now. I remember distinctly being like, holy shit, look at those eyes when I first played Bloodlines. That was, it was insane. And I don't think you can get that in 2021. I don't think you can get that kind of leap in technology anymore. Because, I mean, even if you look at Cyberpunk, which is a really beautiful game, it's not wowing people in the same way graphically as it used to be. Huge leaps in graphics are not really a thing anymore, which honestly I'm happy about because you had to buy a new computer like every 2 years. But the faces are still the best. I agree with you. And that's a lot of because of the built-in Source Engine. It has an ability to morph faces based on vowel sounds, I believe. Because they implemented that in Source Filmmaker. And the previous one for that, I don't recall what that was called. But basically, you could do that with Team Fortress 2 models. You could do that with Half-Life models. You could do that with Bloodlines models. The technology was revolutionary at the time. See you later, Ice Wizard. Thank you for dropping by. So what I'm trying to say is that Bloodlines 2, even if it was released without any of this trouble, I don't think it would have the same impact. Actually, I think it would have a better impact than Bloodlines 1 had when it came out. Because again, the studio had to close down within a year after it was released. They had to let go of a lot of people very close to after the release. And even when they were closing down, they were releasing patches to the game that would actually make it playable. Troika Studios died because of Bloodlines 1 when they released it. They made Arcanum before. I think they made another game in between. They were people who I think worked with Fallout 1 and 2. I'm not getting into stuff that I'm not too familiar with. But Troika Studios died making Bloodlines 1. They did not recuperate from the release. So Bloodlines has always been a little bit cursed when it comes to development. I did not finish Earthblood. My thoughts on it are, it's okay. It's not great. Writing is the weakest, for sure. Not a huge fan of the repetitive gameplay. I like the wolf and stealth part really well. Thought it was great. It was fun. Basically, if a game makes you want to avoid fighting, which is how I ended up by the end, I was like, please don't discover me so I have to fight people. I think they didn't do a great job. And I think the writing was really bad. I didn't like the writing for Earthblood. I've had some time to contemplate it. I played 6 hours of it. I didn't finish it. I'm not going to finish it. I had a decent time playing it. But I think that Heart of the Forest did a better job covering werewolves, to be honest. But yeah, it's... yeah, sure, Junk Bucket, you may share that. And I haven't kept up so much with the discussion around Bloodlines 2 aside from that. But again, to me, I think this is all theory now and my own private conclusions that I've drawn. I think that with the release of Earthblood and how that went, and with the releases of Night Road and Shadows and Coteries and Heart of the Forest, games that I would believe were actually quite successful, released on a very small budget with a very dedicated team who worked very hard with the source material. I think that Paradox might have realized, this is all hypothetical, I think Paradox might have realized that Bloodlines 2 wasn't going to be as good as they thought it would be. And I think also that with recent hiring again of certain familiar faces in the World of Darkness writing team, there might have been a bigger push from World of Darkness, who are again operating as World of Darkness. They're not a skeleton crew anymore. They're actually growing to maybe polish it a little bit more, maybe bring it more in line with where the game is going. Let me see here. I may be wrong. Of course. But I think that I would like to think that the World of Darkness team looked at Bloodlines 2 and went, we can do better. And I honestly, I'm usually not bothered by delays. I mean, I'm still waiting for Bloodborne to be released for PC. It's been 5 years. Come on, Sony. But it'll be out when it's out. It's kind of a cop-out. I know people are disappointed. I'm disappointed. I pre-ordered it too. I really would have wished to be playing Bloodlines 2 by now. I don't think it's going to be great. And the reason I say that is because I never think anything is going to be great, because then I always get sorely disappointed. I don't like getting disappointed, so I set my expectations really low. I don't think Bloodlines 2, it can be a really good game. It will not capture what Bloodlines 1 captured. It will not capture the zeitgeist of the time, because I think we've moved away from there in terms of computer games quite a bit. So yes, I'm not too upset about it, except for the fact, of course, that I pre-ordered and I don't know when I'm going to get my money's worth. That's a little bit crass to say, but it's an investment, I suppose. But I could always cancel my pre-order, I suppose. I'm not going to do that because I want to play the game. That hasn't changed. I do think communication has been handled about as well as it can be. I do think there's a whole bunch of NDAs that making sure people can't talk about it. You know, in the end, I hope that it will do good for the setting. As I mentioned earlier, I think the setting, I have no idea where they're taking V5, to be honest, because Cults of the Blood Gods, great book. I think Chicago by Night, great book. Fall of London didn't quite achieve what it could have achieved. Could have done a whole lot more with the lore of the setting. And the extra books released to V5 are fine. I like them a lot. Let me see here if I have any of them. Sorry for that noise. Yeah, I don't have the other ones here. I'm really curious to see where V5 is going, and I would love them to release more like self-contained scenario books, pre-made adventures, maybe more stuff on disciplines and merits and flaws. I think merits and flaws were one of the weakest parts of character creation in V5 and something that really needs to be propped up. Some clarifications are needed. I am still not 100% convinced whether or not you can have two different lore sheets. It doesn't explicitly say you can only have one. It says pick a lore sheet. That can be interpreted as you can only pick one. Rules is written, you know. But I do hope that V5 and Vampire and World of Darkness will keep moving forward. It has some momentum. I don't want it to lose the momentum, and I think that's probably the biggest damage of what's happening with Bloodlines 2, is that Bloodlines 2 could have helped bring in more people into the community. As far as I know, Earthblood has actually sold decently well. Not so sure about if those sale numbers are counting returns. I don't think people return it. Releasing it on Epic Games, I will never understand why they did that. Weird deal they made, maybe. But I do think that delaying Bloodlines 2 is damaging the momentum that Vampire has for sure. And the whole restructuring of the writing, like who's writing what. I believe that Hunter Entertainment, the people writing W5, Werewolf 5th edition, kind of, that's, I don't want to say dead in the water, but I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's coming up for V5. No books. I don't know about books. We desperately need more books for the game. And I mean, Paradox, give me a call. I want to help you write stuff. I'm still sitting. I would still love to work with that kind of stuff, but obviously I'm just a fan, so I don't know if I could do that. And game, why hard to Sabbat and Second Inquisition. Oh, Sabbat and Second Inquisition are coming. That's good to know, though. Sabbat, yes, I should have probably said that. The release of the compendium, the free compendium that came in December, indicated to me that they were probably working on the Sabbat. I'm very, very interested to hear what's going on with the Sabbat. I want to hear what's happening there, because that's also a better step towards getting a concise lore update. Because while I do appreciate the attempt with V5 of making it less dependent on previous knowledge, I think it would be easier to bring in the old crowd if you offer the possibility of playing different factions, stuff like that. And I mean, that would be great. And Second Inquisition for sure. Hunters Hunted. I want to have Hunter material. That's probably the easiest stuff. Hi, Francesca. Hey, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Thank you. I've done the unboxing. Francesca is, you missed the start. I'm so sorry. Francesca is the contact I've been talking with Fast Travel Games. I very much appreciate the gift box. We were talking a lot about Wraith earlier. I'll jump back to that right away. I got the key. You don't have to apologize. Thank you so much for coming. I got the photo of Rachel from the letter from the Shadow. I got the tattoo, which I will have on my arm. And I've also got a t-shirt. Thank you so much for the gift box. I'm very excited about it. And I was mentioning that will hopefully be playing the game soon. Thank you so much again for sending this. This is so good. Very excited about it. Very excited to play. I regret not buying an Oculus Rift, if I have to say anything. When I was looking over the VR helmets, I was like, I'm going to get that one. Little did I know I missed out on playing Wraith, because I heard it got released yesterday. I hope it's going well. Francesca, again, contact from Fast Travel Games. Very nice person to work with. The t-shirt is the right size. Thank you. It's large. I really, really like it. Thank you so much. I was actually just talking a little bit about the current state of World of Darkness. I was just going to say, if there's anything I would love to see a 5th edition version of, is Wraith. I would love Wraith to come back. I think it had a huge potential as a setting. I know that they kind of scrapped it and put in Geist, the Sin Eater, which is sort of straddling this middle ground of because it's happening sort of after the Sixth Maelstrom, which has been retconned in Wraith 20. Sixth Maelstrom is what created or opened the Abyss, released the demons, which is in the videos that I'm covering right now. A month will fly over it. Yeah, absolutely. A month will just go like that, and I will be playing Wraith before you know it. Oh, yes, the Shadow is a cool concept. I've always loved that World of Darkness is about capturing often duality of humans, like the good and the bad side, or almost like the kind of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde sides. You have the Beast, you have, of course, Rage in Werewolf, you have the Beast and Frenzy and Vampire, you have the Shadow in Wraith, and of course you also have the Seelie Unseelie courts in Changeling, which is also not necessarily always bad and good, but definitely going that kind of duality thing going for it. Human and Fae, exactly. And yes, sorry, very happy to see you here in the stream. And I was talking about V5. I really hope that V5 and World of Darkness and Wraith will continue to grow. I'm very excited to see so many different takes on the setting. I'm like, a VR Wraith game is an excellent idea. Very excited because I think Wraith, but Wraith is a scary setting. It also has a lot of depth, which makes it very good for writing. Like, you can pick just as much as you want from the setting. You can just make it a plain ghost story, but you can take little elements from there if you want to. Demon also has the duality of demon and human. I think that's a huge concept in World of Darkness, and something that I always try to remind myself and people I talk with about that. If you have mortals in your chronicle, make sure they matter. Make chronicle or story. Make sure that they actually play an important role, because humans are not just empty. I mean, they're just not fodder bags or there to be killed. They're a crucial element of the World of Darkness. They are supposed to represent not only what you've lost or not a part of, but also what you could be. And they also could be a threat. They could be potential allies as well. Yes. I feel like from being in the World of Darkness group, people often say Wraith does not get much attention. That's true, Francesca. Unfortunately, Wraith, I have the first edition book here. Wraith got 2 editions, but then it didn't sell really well, and I think that's primarily because Wraith is a very dark, very depressing game, which also, unfortunately, you had to play each other's shadows in the role-playing game. You had to basically be another player's darker side, which requires a lot of, I would say it requires a lot of emotional maturity not to completely ruin the experience. And I think that was not always easy to do. I think it's a really good, they're not juice boxes on legs. No, I'm sorry. They could be. Depends on how you play your game. But I think that any game where mortals don't have a role to play is poorer for it. Not necessarily a bad game, but I think that it's fun to consider what mortals can and cannot do, which is also why I'm very excited for the upcoming Hunter game. The title escapes me right now, but released by the same people who made Night Road. There's lots of cool games in the works. We also got Swan Song coming very soon, I hope. But yeah, Wraith is a great role-playing game, and there's the 20th anniversary edition. It's available on DriveThruRPG. Can strongly recommend it. Although, as I always do, I more recommend getting the older books, because while the 20th anniversary editions are very full of cool, neat stuff you can make for your characters, that often comes at the sacrifice of the lore. I believe that the older books have more about the setting, which I think is equally, if not more important. In my opinion, as a lore guy, can't imagine why I would have that opinion. But I do think, I always feel a little bad when there is a VR game released, because I know that not everyone has a VR headset. They are getting cheaper, but they're still a bit expensive. So I know that it works on the Oculus Rift. It should work on the mixed reality headset, which is, I think this is in the lower price range of VR headsets. I think like somewhere around $300 for a new headset, which is still a bit of an investment. It's half a console, I think. But there's also plenty of games you can play with a VR headset, including Wraith. So it's definitely a long-term investment. Thank you. My dinner was delicious. Yeah, I think also you got to take into account that when that book was released, the Sabbat book, that was revised edition. So at that point, people had gotten tired of the core themes of Vampire and just wanted to play other stuff. Isn't your Return of the Classic World of Darkness? Really enjoyed the V5 era, yeah. Parliament of Knives, that's the one. Out for Blood is the hunter game. Parliament of Knives is the more politically focused vampire game. And I think this trifecta really works. You got Night Road, which is about independent, semi-independent, on the street vampire role-playing, which is a common element. Then you got Out for Blood, which is this outsider perspective on vampire society, where you play young hunters out hunting vampires. And then you got Parliament of Knives, where you'll be right in the thick of Camarilla politics, which I think is just a really, really smart way of releasing games. Because especially if the people have been playing the other two games before, they will have a good idea on the setting. And then in Parliament of Knives, you can really get into the meat of it and start doing Elysian politics, which is really fun. Justin Achille teased something in the chat of World of Darkness yesterday. He said the Orpheus group is doing things. Orpheus, yes, they released that game as well. A mobile game, Orpheus. And Orpheus is related to Geist Sin Eater. No, it's not. Orpheus, isn't Orpheus Chronicle of Darkness? And we're going to play other stuff. I actually tend to join the bad boy side. But yes, I am very happy that Old World of Darkness, now known as World of Darkness, is coming back. Like I was saying earlier, I think the game market is different today. It's harder to release books at the same pace and same size as it was in the 90s and early aughts, and I would definitely love to see more. You can release, I mean, I'll take this up here. You can release a game like this box, introductory box to Alien. You have basic rules, you got some stuff in there, you got a scenario that's really fun to play. Do that with Vampire. Release 1700s. You got the Age of Enlightenment, you got pirates, you've got Revolutionary War, you've got colonialism. If you want to go into that. 1700s, super exciting time period. 1800s, equally exciting time period. 1600s, I don't know as much about the 1600s. I know there was a lot of war in Europe. 1500s, you got 1600s, you got kind of the Renaissance going with Italy, and you got the religious conflicts in the church. You got, of course, earlier on, you got the Crusades. There's so many interesting history periods that I would love to see explored more in World of Darkness, and that's definitely an approach they can take. And Edward Reed is covering the classics. Let me see here. 1980s, Vampire Vice. Yeah, you can do the 80s. That would be awesome. Like, I think that's a cool approach to take, because it's not been done. I mean, you got the Dark Ages, which is a really long time back, but just releasing time periods. The 20s, the Roaring 20s. You can release the 10s, the Great War, which is not nearly as controversial as the war that came after it. You can release 1890s, late Victorian, is it Edwardian at that time? There is a lot of potential in history, and I think, again, it would really appeal to older players who don't have that stuff, because I don't think re-releasing a bunch of information and just regurgitating or changing it a little bit and then releasing it again, I don't think anyone's going to get satisfied with that, especially when all these old books are still up for sale and they're still canonical, so it might be difficult. Wraith, I would just love to see more Wraith stuff. I played a session of Geist. Geist, the Sin Eater. No, that is the Orpheus. Orpheus is the world. Geist is the Chronicles of Darkness game. I was playing an Orpheus game. Orpheus is the spiritual sequel to Wraith the Oblivion. Orpheus came after the Sixth Great Maelstrom. I'm ashamed. New Wave Requiem book for Vampire the Requiem. Oh, cool. I was not aware that had been released. Non-God, I unfortunately am very poorly educated on Chronicles of Darkness, so stuff released for that I'm usually not very knowledgeable about, but that's cool. I love that they've released a book for that, New Wave. I'm gonna check that out. But yes, Orpheus is basically a sort of a spiritual successor. It's not a direct successor, because they don't connect in that way, but it is Wraith revised, huge quotation marks. Oh, hey, Junk Bucket, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you. Wow. Thank you for the donation. What's your opinion on Changeling the Dreaming versus Changeling the Lost? That's a good question. I think they both have a merit, but you want to have my opinion on versus. I'm going to say Changeling the Lost has appealed to me the most, because I think Changeling the Lost has a really, really strong theme of PTSD, of abuse survival, and of coping with trauma that I think makes for excellent role-playing if you're in a group that can handle that. I think Changeling the Lost does not quite have the same longevity as Changeling would have. Changeling the Dreaming, sorry. Because Lost, I was running a Lost game for almost a year. Lost is very slow, I would say, which is not how I ran it at all. To my lack of merit, that was poorly done in terms of planning. But Dreaming, I think, has a bigger depth to it. I think Lost is an excellent game to run for like a year. And I think Lost is also way easier to do like day-to-day stuff in than Changeling the Dreaming. I like Lost more, but I've gotten a new appreciation of Changeling the Lost. I mean, the Dreaming. And yeah, Changeling the Dreaming is what I refer to as the horror of living as a minority. Yeah, I would say that they have slightly different themes, definitely. And the Dreaming is more about not getting swallowed by this huge, massive banality all around you and losing what makes you special and unique, really. Yeah, the Orpheus device, voice-controlled RPG on Google Assistant and Alexa, although I never got to run Alexa. Yeah, Norbert, I haven't actually been able to play that, unfortunately. I really wanted to, but it would have been really nice. I mean, there's a huge trans fan base for Lost as well. I would say it really appeals to trans individuals and the HBTQI, LGBTQI. Sorry, that's the Swedish shorthand for it. I would say all Changeling games really appeal to those groups. But yes, I kind of lost my train of thought there a bit. But I gave my thoughts on Bloodlines, which is really not very, not controversial at all, in my opinion. Maybe it's controversial that I'm not upset about it. I'm salty, but I think the game is going to profit from it. I don't think it's going to become vaporware. You can clip this. Well, you can't clip it because it's on YouTube. But you can remember this if it becomes vaporware and call me out on it. I will bear that burden. I think it's going to come out in 2022. I really do. If it doesn't, I will be more salty. Yeah, Orpheus is Darth Troyes. Orpheus is standalone, kind of. It's a reimagination, I would say, of Wraith. It's kind of like Chronicles of Darkness Light, because it's still in World of Darkness, but they just went a different way entirely. And it is chronologically supposed to be taking place after the sixth great maelstrom, the maelstrom that destroyed the necropoli and pretty much everything in Oblivion, and released the demons of Demon the Fallen, which I think has been retconned away strongly, and that's kind of the way it went. And let's see here. More as good guys. I'm not sure what it means. Yeah, and Orpheus is more like Ghostbusters. At least that's how it was played when I played. I've only played Orpheus once. I know very little about it, but it was fun. We played it at Gehenna Gaming's online convention. That was really fun. I had a lot of fun playing that. Did I promise anything else? I kind of had to go and eat dinner in a little bit. But I think I'm very excited for what 2021 will give. I want to address the fact that a lot of people are complaining that there are more computer games than there are role-playing game books for World of Darkness. And I think that I don't personally see that as a problem. I never had any problem with the IP going over to computer games, especially if they're done well. I think both Vampire Redemption and Bloodlines were really good. I haven't played the Hunter games. I watched some gameplay from them, and they seemed pretty fine. I have also seen some stuff from the cancelled Werewolf game. It was. I really like the text-based games that were released. Earthblood could have done with better writing. If it had better writing, I would have liked it more. If it had better combat, I would have liked it more. But as it was, it just didn't know which direction I wanted to go. So I kind of lost interest. Didn't hate it. And it seems to have sold fairly well, which is always good for the IP. And what am I having for dinner? Good question. I will have the classic Swedish follow sausage with macaroni because it's Friday and because I like it. So that's what I'm going to be eating. Yeah, Night Road on mobile, really good decision. I have a very close friend and supporter who is visually impaired, who's been playing Night Road on their cell phone and has been able to do so because of text-to-speech. So that is something I would love to see more of in future World of Darkness games as well, like accessibility, text-to-speech functions, or just at least the ability to read the text with a text-to-speech app for those who are visually impaired, who wants to enjoy the World of Darkness as well. Korv Stroganoff. Oh, it's so good, right, Francesca? Korv Stroganoff is so good, but only if you use creme fraiche. If you use if you use cooking cream or whipped cream, like my mom does, it's too sweet. You want to use creme fraiche. You want that little tangy tartness to it. But yes, I love it. It's a very cheap take as well on stroganoff, which is much more expensive to make here. Obfuscate Oblivion, but yeah, mixing of Obfuscate and Oblivion. I think just it's a matter of. I think it's entirely because they want to make the amount of disciplines you have less, so it's easier for the storyteller to balance the game, so you don't have the plethora of powers that were available in earlier editions. Shading my mom. She doesn't watch my content. It's fine. She doesn't. I was like, hey, mom, my channel's going pretty good. She's like, oh, cool. Anyway, are you coming for the barbecue? So that's the level of engagement she's got with this kind of content. Yeah, text-to-speech is good for not just visually impaired, but anyone like those with dyslexia, reading, other kind of reading difficulties. Don't tell her. What are you doing in my chat? Thorned Embers is Kitsu, who is playing Astrid in Huddy's amazing game. If you haven't caught it, I was having a blast. We were playing Blood on the Grand Strand, which was taking place in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. This shining beacon of sin and vice. It was a great game. I was playing at Simitsi. Hopefully there will be a season 2 soon. We will see the continuation of that. I was having a time of my life. Which clan did I like on Night Road? Again, I haven't finished Night Road. I don't know if you were here when I said it, but I have not touched the game since last I streamed it. And I promise, this summer I will play Night Road. I will finish it. Cross my heart and hope to die. I just haven't had the time. I've got a whole bunch of different stuff that is going on, unfortunately, that just keeps me from doing that. Paris in general. Yeah, Francesca, I know. Like, I don't understand what you're doing. I'm glad you're making money or whatever, but I don't care. And that's fine. I love my mom. But yes, she taught me my favorite recipe, of course, beef stew. I make a really, really good beef stew. So thanks for that one, Mom. It's a weird thing to talk about. All right, I think that's about it. I'm currently working on next week's Demon script, which is coming out soon. And that one I will be covering the history of the setting more in detail. After I've done that, I'm going to talk about the Earthbound. After that, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the important characters, and then we're done with Demon. Demon is not a very complex setting. It doesn't have a lot of books. Actually, I have them all here. I can show you how many books there are. Because now I have this neat bookshelf right next to me. Let me see here. I think this is, in fact, I'm missing, there we go. And then we got, just gotta move some stuff here. This is all the demon content there is. Might be, I'm missing the novels. There's 3 novels as well. So in comparison, maybe 10 times this much, maybe more is vampire. Possibly 15 times this much. 20 times is vampire. Werewolf is close to 3 or 4 times that much. Mage is maybe twice, 3 times. But yeah, Earthbound, I will be covering those as well. The Earthbound demons, the archdukes of hell, and those things that have been on Earth a little bit longer than the Fallen. On the Chick Tract that was released for Demon when it first came out. The Chick Tract? I don't actually know what that is. Chick Tract that was released for Demon when it first came out. You mean like an album? If there's music for it, I should do a review for it. But Demon the Fallen has turned out. That's way more demon content than I acquired during its original run. I think this is, I can actually go through it. You got the Earthbound book, you got the core rule book, you got the Days of Fire, which is sort of like an in-lore book written by Lucifer. You got the Damned and Deceived, which I believe is about mortal servants, a character book. You have Saviors and Destroyers, which is about demon hunters. Might do a video on those as well. You got Fear to Tread, which is a chronicle, which is taking place in L.A., which is City of Angels. And then you got the Storyteller's Companion. Every time I buy a companion, I'm always like, oh shit, this is just 20 pages. But this one is a little bit longer. It's 70 pages. And then finally, House of the Fallen. Oh, and you also have the Player's Guide. I forgot that one. Oh, there is one more. Hold on. There we go. We got the Demon Player's Guide as well, so there's more content. And there's the last one, which I forgot to take into consideration, and that is Time of Judgment, which is basically Gehenna for all the smaller books. So it's a little bit more content than I originally said there was, but still, this is one of the smallest of the original splats. Just put that on the shelf. I'll deal with that later. So yeah, there's a lot of demon stuff. And I would say saying everything's evil is a sin. Look up Jack Shake. I should probably look that up. One thing that I'm struggling with Demon, and I think is why we'll never see a 20th anniversary release of Demon the Fallen, is because, of course, that it consistently refers to the Abrahamic God. There's angels and there's demons, and they're the Abrahamic angels and demons, Judeo-Christian Muslim school of monotheism, which of course kind of puts a hamper on any religion or creed or faith that's not Judeo-Christian Muslim, and that closes more doors than it opens, if I should say it like that. And I believe it was released because it was approaching the end of the World of Darkness. They were just going, fuck it, let's release demons, because demons have always been a huge concept in World of Darkness. And of course, there's a difference between Earthbound and the Fallen. But what was the dreaming alternative in your splat coverage pool? Non-God. Shh. I only had so many things you could vote for. I've already done a Changeling the Dreaming video. But yeah, I don't think... I think by basically saying that, yes, the world was created by God and his angels. God is consistently referred to him in the book. You're closing the door on a lot of alternative interpretations, and you're making it very Eurocentric, European Western-centric, which is, like, I mean, if you want to go for that, sure, but I know World of Darkness spent a lot of time building up the idea that anything could be true, and this kind of just goes, this is the truth. And it also borrows a lot from Judeo-Christian theology, but it does it kind of poorly. I'm not a theologian, which is not the right word for it, but I'm gonna use the word theologician, like a magician, but theology. But even I can be like, oh, they didn't do their research here. But yeah, the whole vampires come from Cain thing is, of course, completely denied by other kinds of vampires in the setting. And it's never proven if Cain exists or doesn't. And even in the Gehenna book, that's just one or two of the conclusions. And if stuff released later by the Onyx Path even further muddles the water with that and goes like, oh, Beckett's Jihad Diary changes around everything. But definitely very Christian-centric. But they made it basically, oh, yes, the Christian God is the creator, which I think is just taking it one step a little too far. The universe was made and many weren't happy about it. Hunters of the first bloodline. Yeah, I will get back into Night Road when I get back into Night Road Skeleton King. That it's going to be a while before, but I appreciate the advice. But yes, Hunter, I will probably go back to again later. I bought this secondhand as well, Hunter the Reckoning. So I liked it more than I thought I would. And I hope you all appreciated my kind of weird approach to introducing Hunter, because I haven't worked with video material before, but it's like, you know what? This really reminds me of a lot of 80s horror. And Carpenter, John Carpenter is one of my favorite video maker, or directors. That's the proper word for it. And They Live, and From the Mouth of Madness, or In the Mouth of Madness. Do you read Sutter Kane? Like, a lot of that stuff really vibes with me. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That, it's classic stuff. And I think it really meshes well with Hunter. So that's the kind of approach I would take. I don't like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They're ripped off the Band-Aid right away. I never liked Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I think it's a little too campy for me. Because I was a goth kid and I hated that stuff. But if I was to play Hunter, I would definitely run it more 80s. You got The Blob, great horror movie. You got The Thing, great horror movie. You got Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You got They Live, which is not the strongest Carpenter movie in my opinion, but it's really good. You got In the Mouth of Madness. Those are good things. The Thing is the best. I agree. The Thing is the movie that I consistently go back and rewatch. I bought it on YouTube so I can watch it in HD whenever I want to. It's really good. And I really look forward to more of that stuff coming from Matthew Dawkins with his They Came From series, because that's good. He's doing a lot of that stuff with his They Came From. I came here to chew gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum. It's so corny. I love it though. Night of the Undead. I haven't seen a lot of zombie movies, I gotta say. But yeah, definitely more content coming. I have been teasing some other stuff to my patrons, but again, I have been unfortunately very busy and work has been kind of weird. And I gotta say, the whole Corona situation, I'm just gonna address that, it has not worked well for my motivation. 2020 was fine. 2021, I'm like, I want to meet my friends. So that's been keeping me a little bit low. Hopefully it will be better. And again, come summer, you will be seeing a lot more content from me because I work as a teacher. So summertime is don't have any work, time to make content. So that's gonna happen. And of course, as soon as I know when and if I can stream Wraith, I will do so. If I won't be able to stream Wraith, I will at least record and release the recording. So I gotta go. I have a meeting in 15 minutes with Edward Reed in the chat. So Edward, I hope you will allow me to get started on food before we meet. And thank you everyone for tuning in. This was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun talking to you. I feel like I'm not as nervous as I used to be. That's good. I've gotten more used to standing in front of the camera. Thank you everyone so much for your support. It means a lot to me. And remember, if you have any suggestions for content for Vampire, because I really want to do more Vampire stuff, drop a comment to this video. I do read all the comments. I have tried to reply to more comments lately. It's been difficult. But thank you so much, everyone, for your support. It really means a lot to me. It's amazing to have seen this channel's growth. I don't want to I don't want to get too big for my britches, but I do think we might hit 10,000 subscribers before the 2-year anniversary, which would be awesome. Even if we don't, it's pretty awesome anyway. I'm very happy with this channel's growth. I'm very happy with everyone who's watching and following, and I hope you're going to have a great weekend, and I hope I will see you soon, and take care, and just remember, God, here we go. God, I haven't said this line in so long. Now, stay safe out. No, be safe out there, for Gehenna will soon be upon us.